The philosophy of the atom is one which suggests that every sensation, be it taste, smell, touch, and even sight, can be reduced to the impacts of minuscule, indivisible particles which, when combined, create all that we see around us. A universe of particles that exist against a stark and otherwise empty void. And this is the origin of the word later borrowed by modern physicists to describe the atoms of quantum mechanics. As such, one could easily presume that the atomists of ancient Greece nailed it with a hole in one. But though their hunch does resonate with the discoveries of the modern era, there was clearly much in the details left to be understood. For example, the atomists theorized that the sensation of taste might arise due to the various shapes of atoms, where a bitter taste might be the result of jagged atoms, or sweetness the result of smooth atoms. Leucippus, Democritus, and Epicurus each were said to have written much about the nature of the senses, including their own atom-based theories of light. According to what we know of their teaching, it was the belief among these atomists that sight didn't in fact arise in the eye, but instead arose from within compressed layers of atoms filling the air between the object and the observer. The image that one perceives was said to be imprinted within each film-like layer, allowing the eye to touch the echoes of surrounding objects. Certain accounts even suggested that this compression of air atoms occurred due to atoms falling away from objects, a situation that also explained why things deteriorate as they age. However, the most influential theory of light to emerge from ancient Greece was that proposed by Plato. In contrast to the atomized theory of sight, Plato leaned towards a theory of rays, and thus set the scene for the waves v particles battleground that was to persist into the following 2,500 years. But even for the greatness of Plato, there was much left to be understood. What Plato proposed was a refined version of a theory laid down before him by Empedocles. Empedocles spoke of the eye as a lantern that emitted a special kind of fire. This was a sight built upon light rays that were not caught but emitted from the eyes. This idea, along with those embellishments from Plato, Euclid, and Ptolemy, came to be known as the Extramission theory of sight, which not only offered a geometrical appreciation of light, explaining the nature of reflection and refraction, but also a model of the universe that presupposed a speed of light, for the simple reason that distant mountains always appeared in our field of vision as quickly as any nearby objects did, thus suggesting that these light rays must be emitted at near infinite speeds. A fairly logical conclusion, given the evidence available. And it was at this same time that another concept relevant to our story was first put forward, this time by Plato's student Aristotle. Aristotle, like his teacher, spoke of a world consisting of 4 elements: earth, wind, fire, and water. However, it was Aristotle who further considered the void in which these elements persisted, concluding that as a fish must swim through the water, and as we move through the air, so too must the planets themselves move through some medium that fills all space. To this 5th element, he borrowed the mythological name Æther, the primordial god of light. Beyond its personification as a god, Æther was the name given to the upper air, being the ideal transient between the solid dome of the Earth's sky and the heavens above. Our own word, quintessential, is taken from this idea, with quint meaning 5th and essential meaning essence. And so the pieces were set. Parts, patterns, and voids. Concepts that were to remain unchallenged for another 1,000 years. If you enjoyed that and you would like to watch the second part, I'm going to put the links below. Otherwise, the full 1 hour deep dive into the history of light is currently available on our homepage, so feel free to check that out. Otherwise, much love, and I hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful week. See you later.